All right, everyone, welcome to Rhythm and Roads podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Jacob. We have a very special band. We have Spin Circus. Welcome,
Woo!
guys, to the Rhythm and Roads podcast.
Great.
Yeah, guys, so I really appreciate your time coming on to share your story. But I do want to get to know you guys, each one of you. So if you want to introduce yourselves and what your part is in the band.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I'll go first. I'm the guy they usually don't give too much credit to, but I'm
the guy you don't see.
I'm the guy you don't see.
He's the guy in the back.
Especially when you got a band like 10 people in the band.
Yeah, he's the guy you don't see. But you
I'm-
definitely know when it's
I
not
play
there.
drums. Yeah, I'm a
Play the drums?
drummer. Yes, I'm a drummer actually.
Love the background too. Is that yours in the background?
Oh yeah,
This is
Nice, man.
little music room. Thank you.
That's cool. All right.
Dougie say who you are. He knows me. So.
Oh yeah, okay, forget it. I'm Doug. I attempt to play guitar.
All right, cool, man.
And sing.
I'm the funky white boy.
Yeah,
That's what he calls me.
And he's our engineer.
And the engineer.
He did a lot of engineering work
Yeah.
on the tunes we recorded.
Yeah, and I was the guy who was yelling and screaming and cussing when the computer would like crash out when we get like the perfect take. And
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We're a band definitely
Um,
on budget. So yeah,
Yeah.
everything we had was like
budget meaning none.
put together. Where's
Yeah.
the soldering iron?
We built an electronic drum kit. I've known Vince since high school. So
Wow, that far back. Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay. I don't know. I mean, okay.
Get
We're,
into that. Let me get the door.
oh, Kevin's here.
Kevin's here? Oh,
Okay.
this is nuts.
I don't know how deep we want to go, but I got to tell you this story because this is
Okay.
hilarious. So
Yeah, go ahead, man.
okay, so Vince went to a different high school than me. I must have been 17, 16. He was a senior. I was a junior.
Okay.
There was a place that was by our house. It was like a good old fashioned pinball place where you go and just hang out as a high school kid and go blow all your money on Galaga or try to find chicks or whatever it is that you're looking for. And so Vince comes up to me. I never knew him before. Vince comes up to me and he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "What's up?" I'm telling him when we first met. Hey, dude, it's the Kevin here. So let me get off the story. I got to get off the story first. So Vince comes up to me at Mother's Pinball and he's like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "What's up?" And he goes, you play guitar? And I go, yeah. I go, what do you play? He goes, drums. And he goes, you want to jam? And I go, yeah, cool. So, and that was it. And
That
so
was it, huh?
Yeah, that was it. So he had to put a band together for a battle of the bands for his high school. And he was playing in a band with guys who were a lot older than him. So we had to put this band together because we needed to beat our friend's band.
Oh,
So we
man.
threw it. And that was it. And that's how I met him. And then we were a roommate forever. And then
different bands together.
a bunch of different bands together. So we started to I've always been into recording. So I had my first 4-track or this or that. I've recorded in my garage. We started doing some stuff at his house. And we couldn't record drums, obviously. So we built our own electronic drum kit. So when you talk about things being on a budget, I ain't joking because I build my amps because I can't afford them. So that's been basically it. And I think I haven't listened to our new material I haven't listened to our old material in a long time.
Yeah.
I got new material, by the way. But I haven't listened to our old material in a long time. And I forgot how fun it was.
Wow.
Because it was literally like just hit record and go. And it's just, and everything, I don't know how much you've heard. Everything we did was all live.
Wow.
And it was just fun. You talk about being able to capture moments.
Yeah.
That's probably the thing that I've learned the most playing with these guys. It was all about a moment. It doesn't matter how good you are. Well, you gotta be good, but it doesn't matter how perfect it is. You just gotta get moments and stuff. And that's why I love playing with these guys. So this is,
I think Doug actually, when we're talking, he came over this morning, kind of we're talking about the band, and like when we first started, it really had no filter. This band had no filter. So it's like we gotta have this two rock guys. Play with Kevin at church. Then I met Jerome.
Hey, bro.
We got all this in a room together, and we're just like,
Wow, look at
all
that.
different musical genres, and like, let's put this in a pot and let's see what happens.
yeah.
And that's what it did. It was
Welcome.
Yeah.
All right.
One of the other things too, and another quick story, because I got tons of. I met Kevin at church one day.
No, I'm gonna tell this story.
No.
No.
I want to hear your version of this.
So,
man.
My wife and I had left the church previously. My wife at the time left a church called True Rock Ministries in the South Loop. We would travel from Chicagoland to the South Loop 3-4 times a week to go to church. Wife gets sick. We can't go to church anymore. We found a new church called the Chapel.
Oh,
And I had stopped playing. I played guitar at that church. Never touched the keyboard ever. They don't even know I played keyboard at that church. So we found this church called the Chapel that's not too far from our house in Round Lake Beach. So we're going, and I see this band. I'm musically oriented. I'm like, okay, I'm watching the band, see how they are.
Yeah.
Here's this dude smashing on guitar. And I'm like, and the service is over. Everybody's filtering out.
He's just jamming at the end of it.
And I'm just at the edge of the stage just going, wow, they're good. He connects here, drops his guitar on the stage, jumps off the stage. Hi, I'm Doug Chuck Beck. I know you play something. What do you do? And that's how that happened.
Yeah.
That's how I know you play. So I'm intimidated on guitar. And I'm like, he said, what do you play? Keyboards? Keyboards? I'm a keyboard player. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
man.
a keyboard player. Yeah.
So after service, we're sitting there talking after service. It must have been at least an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't even care if you're any good. I want to be in a band with you because you're just cool and you're good people. And I just want good people in my life.
Right.
And that's really how it happened.
Yeah, that's how
Man.
I mean, I don't think any of us now in this room has seen this guy. When did you move?
I moved in
2012, right?
Nope. It was it was 12. 12 or 13.
Together like 2000.
Yeah.
No,
13. I left in 13.
You left in 13.
I left in 13.
One of the last shows we did, I used to work at Sam Ash. One of the last shows we did was we did a customer appreciation thing for Sam Ash, and I had the band come out to do that. The manager at the time just loved us. And then we did a band, they were showing like some PA systems, and we did it. I don't think Kevin was with us at that time.
No, what?
No, you weren't with us. So honestly, in this room, we haven't seen this dude right here in person for like 10 years, at least 10 years. Yeah,
so you're saying as of right now, you
right
had
now,
in 10 years?
And I finally get a chance to meet his beautiful
Oh my God.
wife that I have never met forever. So
When I left, there was another one. We don't want to talk about the dark times.
yeah, he thinks it was. It's like everybody talks about my.
Wait, so you're telling me that you haven't seen him since in 10 years as of right now?
Yeah. So this is the first. This is the reunion.
What a reunion right now, huh?
Yeah.
Literally, right?
Yeah, it is. It literally is a reunion.
Ask a question. Ask me a question. I've got tons of answers.
We got tons.
Ask me a question. Wow.
Well, as a keyboardist, I actually want to know your styles of like genre of music, what you go to. So like, as like for example, for me as a drummer, I like U2 because of Larry Mullen Jr. That's one of my idols I looked at as a drummer. So do you guys have your own artists, guitarists, keyboardists, drummers that you've looked up growing up, or
Absolutely.
your idol?
Oh, yeah.
Vince?
I mean, I don't really try to apply one style to like, to a project or it, but
Right.
always growing up was always my thing was like, I wanted the feel of Bonham. I wanted the passion of Keith Moon. I wanted the writing of Ringo, and I wanted the execution of Neil Peart.
Yeah.
My guys,
All of them.
That's kind of like a Mount Olympus thing.
Right.
Yeah. Those are the guys you went to. I mean, I'm 50.
Oh, that's cool, man. Good list.
They have YouTube of finding these Steve Smiths and the Simon Phillips till later on, and the Virgil Donattis and all those guys. I mean, as a drummer, you never stop learning. You never stop trying to find, go open up the different doors and different genres. That's why this band was so cool, because we'd grab people that we would never thought we'd play with,
Oh, right. I can imagine.
Different genres and just really exploring. Same with them coming in and like, great story is, have another thing coming. There's just a Judas Priest song.
We do a Judas Priest song that sounds like Primus.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, these guys,
Yeah.
and we told them just play it, and we wouldn't let them listen to the original version.
We never did. That's how we did covers. I would pull a cover out and start jamming it, and they would do it, and I was like, okay, I'll go back and learn it. And I'm like, I don't want you guys to learn it. I will show you the changes and learn how to do it.
But those are my guys.
Yeah.
That's cool.
My guys was obviously. I mean, I was all over the place because I was the black guy in the projects in Kentucky that listened to LRS 102, The Walrus. So I knew. Okay. Oh yeah. Also, I have rock roots. So it was the keyboard guys of Funkadelic. You got Bernie Worrell. You got Nick Rhodes from Duran Duran. You got
Thomas Dolby. Nick Rhodes. Yeah.
Then you got George Duke. Then you have Herbie Hancock. So those are my keyboard guys. So my main guy was Monty Moyer from The Time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
it was a time where if it didn't come, I was so biased. If it didn't come out of Minneapolis, as far as that Prince Time group,
oh yeah,
I wasn't listening to it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. And that's where I got my keyboard chops from, was listening to them. And then I had that 4-hour conversation with Prince in Louisville, Kentucky, where it was I got to talk to him for 4 hours one-on-one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about music, it was about the industry, because he always said, Kevin, it's 90% business, 10% music. When you understand that,
Did you say it like that?
then go in. Then go into it. He says 90% business, 10% music. And I'm like, okay. He said, you can stop playing for 6-7 years, because that talent is always that mustard seed of music is in you. You can always go back to that.
Yeah.
But it's the business part you got to learn. When you get out of the studio, what are you going to do with your song? That's and so at 15, 16 years old, I'm like, okay, publishing, which is PRO, copyright. I was that. And the other guys I was in bands with, man, we got to learn that riff. That you can get that. Man. You got to get it. Never give up your publishing. How about that? Let's try that.
Yeah.
So that was my thing. But those are my
interesting,
guys.
man. Wow.
Yeah. Me?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, you're right. No, I mean, where do you start? I mean, I'm a product of the 70s, so it started with the Bay City Rollers, and then it was Ace Frehley. I mean, it was, if I'm sitting there watching cartoons in the morning, I see the Bay City Rollers, I'm like, I want to wear tartan. And then later on, I see Kiss, I'm like, okay, I got to be Ace Frehley. So then as you get older, obviously, you grow into different things, and your interests change it. I was lucky though growing up, because my folks split. I would visit my dad on the weekends, and he lived in an area around here where they got cable before anybody else did, even in Chicago. It was out of far suburb. So okay. I didn't know anybody around where I grew up. So I got MTV before any of my friends did. So I sat with a guitar in front of MTV when I was in junior high and early high school. I go home and I have my records there. So I'm listening to Iron Maiden and Ozzy and whatever metal thing is there at the time. But I'm also sitting in front of my dad's house learning how to play Hall & Oates or whatever videos were there. So I had this kind of and I always, it was never genre specific. I always just liked everything. My first record I bought for myself, I think it was in 5th grade, was Earth, Wind and Fire. Oh. So it was not like, it was a 45 of September. So it's not like I was always into this music versus this music, and this music. I loved hip hop. I loved metal. I loved this. I loved funk, and so on and so forth. So when we met Kevin, and again, Vince and I had already known each other. We'd already had this other band that was a 90s. Well, it was a 90s band, but we were like older, so we didn't fit with the grunge thing. Okay. But we did have a really cool kind of a collective soul Cheap Trick vibe to it. Yeah. And so there's not the Joneses. And so that band kind of just started to settle because the singer went on staff at the church and he just wasn't as free, so me and Vince were still writing and doing our stuff, and we would just come stuff. And he met Jerome, I don't know how, and we just had Jerome out and start to jam with us. And our first stuff we started playing was very Robin Trower, very kind of bluesy, drivey stuff. Yeah. I was really getting into some of these jam bands that were happening mid 2000s that I would see on these Bonnaroo festivals. And one was North Mississippi All Stars. Oh, wow. And they had God, what's this? There's an old blues guy who's based in that area that the father of the dudes in North Mississippi All Stars recorded. Well, they had this little entourage coming out during this blues thing, during this Bonnaroo jam, where they're laying into these really kind of cool guttural bluesy jams. And all of a sudden this guy comes up and starts rapping. And I'm like, I want to do this. I want to figure out how to do this. And so I started to try to throw, like Vince had mentioned before, we just kind of threw everything into a pot, kind of stirred it around and go, it needs a little more reggae. So then you just throw a little reggae in. One of the oregano. Yeah, oregano. Yeah. One of the things I love about playing with Kevin. Yeah. And I think one of the reasons when he moved, I was like, we can never do this. We cannot do this without this dude here,
Right.
because he thinks differently. He will come up with this idea out of nowhere, and I would say to him, we're writing the song. I'd say, okay, we know we need some Hammond organ. Kevin's like, I do no Hammond organ. And so he would come up with the most like not cheesy, but like kind of like 80s-ish sound.
Oh wow!
But it was perfect. And he would come up with these hooks out of nowhere that was kind of like, it was like, okay, this is what is making this special. That's why when you talk about influences, we would do a song and Jerome starts writing the songs. He's driving his truck, and so he gets these ideas and he goes, yeah, we're going to do reggae. And then all of a sudden, Kevin comes in and he starts doing this neoclassical motif on top of it. Because I forgot what you were listening. I think you were listening to Rihanna at the time.
Probably.
And she had this record that had she had these like themes and these songs that were like, so I'm sitting there doing guitar lines over this, and I'm like, I'm playing like Yngwie Malmsteen, and I haven't done this in over 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's what was so fun about these dudes, is that this stuff would just kind of come out of nowhere, and it would always work. So
that's cool, man.
What
I like is
what up, Joe?
His influences.
We already know each other, man. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, funk, rock, man.
the whole.
Chili Peppers, man. Funkadelic. That's me. Rage Against the Machine. I'm Motley Crue.
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah.
So you got this eclectic thing going on. It's just a mosh pit of
which is
sound.
Which has always made it so easy writing.
Yeah.
We got a group of guys like that. It's like he'd just be tuning his guitar. He's just doing something.
Yo, keep doing that. Keep doing that. I'm tuning my guitar. No, really, keep doing it. I hear something.
Well, let's get into any new projects you guys are working on, like a new EP coming out or a new album or anything.
For Spin Circus or just another?
No, Spin Circus. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'd like to. I mean,
I
think something's going to happen now.
Or new participants, I think, want to contribute.
Yeah.
So we don't know. That's what's so cool about this. So we don't put borders.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and announce. Yeah, we're doing a new EP. Probably about.
There you go.
Oh, you are.
Okay. So it's done. I just got my new computer yesterday.
Okay, good.
So it's over.
Now it's for sure. It's done.
It's done.
And nowadays, you can record all over the world.
Oh yeah.
I'm sending you your part.
Yeah, it's on.
Now we got two MCs that we're gonna be bringing on board, so we're probably gonna redo some of our old stuff.
Okay, cool.
And do some new stuff with them, man.
Mm-hmm.
So from now on, man, we're back. We don't always do this.
We've got so much. Like, because we recorded so much, we got so much like ideas.
That's all we did was record. We just hit record.
Like touched some of those, vocals and it was great stuff.
We would get to rehearsal. So I'd get there earlier. I'd like turn everything on, and Vince would be sleeping, and I would get to rehearsal and turn everything on, boot up the computer. The guys would show up, and literally we would just hit record. And then at that moment, I might be like, okay, well, we would just jam for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or half hour, and then I just get on there and go try to move everything around, and we go, okay, I think we got a song here. Or I'd take them home and I'd work on them a couple days, and I'd email everybody and say, I think we edit them together, and go, I think we got a song here. And Jerome's driving his truck, and he calls me up and goes, yo, man, I think I wrote lyrics on that song. And it's like, and so
there it is.
We were putting out something like literally like once a week. We were just kind of on
that fast, huh?
Yeah, it was Wednesday or Tuesday.
Every Wednesday night, it would just know we were coming up with new material.
We're just coming up with something new.
This went on for what? How many years?
I believe at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, so it's that much material.
Yeah,
it's that much.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah,
all these creative minds get together in one collective spot. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? So.
And also, where are you located?
El Paso, Texas.
In El Paso, Texas. Okay, so I don't know what it's like by you, but Chicago is like cover band like central, right? And so
tribute bands.
Yeah, tribute, and especially tribute bands right now. So I play a lot, but it's all cover bands. It pays the bills. But I never stop like just writing. And so a couple years ago, I think my stuff was dead, and I think the stuff I was using most of the time is now here at Vince's house. I got my own stuff, and I started playing with some new software, and I just started playing around with beats, and I started throwing some things together and started doing stuff. So I've got material that it fits perfectly with what Spin Circus does. I got other stuff that fits with some of these other different projects, but I can even take those things that might not be Spin Circus stuff, and Spin Circus will make it Spin Circus, just because the Spin Circus is Spin Circus and who they are. So so I can't wait to look at these things and start to go, well, what can we do with this? And is there something we can build off of, you know? And now it's even so much easier that because Kevin is in Kentucky, but we can still do stuff now more so than we could maybe even 5 years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago. It's so much easier right now. Because there's these systems that have gotten into place, and especially because of COVID. I mean, if you think about it, it's just you start to look at what we're doing right now. We ever think about doing this thing like even 5 years ago? No. So we have these tools now that have happened, and especially in the last 5 years, where just give it to him, he puts it down, and it's like I put him in and bash it down, and we have got another song. Let's put a show together. Kevin, you come up with this month and we'll do a show that way. Or do you got something? Hey, let's go down to Kentucky and play a show. So,
cool, man.
We're excited.
Well, I'm really excited to see you guys from me. I guess after how long it's been? 5-10 years since you guys haven't been together.
It's been longer.
Longer than that. Wow.
All four of us. It's been longer than that. I play with Jerome in a project he's got called Funk Brothers.
Okay. Oh yeah.
You know, I play with Jerome in that one when we can. You know, Vince, I don't think we've ever really done anything.
Just those. They have these like shows where the mix of musicians.
Yeah, we have a bunch of things where we kind of put these events together and have guys from all these different bands. It's really neat. It's really, really, really cool. So it's really great for the community around here because there's so many bands that are so prominent, at least in our area, that everybody the general public kind of knows. And all of a sudden, when you get this guy playing with this dude, who's playing with this dude, who's playing with this dude, and all these different bands together on stage,
and it helps fill in too. Like,
it does.
Because I'm in a Poison Crew tribute band, and so there's those like 6-7 big bands out there. There's, you know, hey, you got a show, can you fill in for this band? So it kind of jumps and helps each other out. It is a really cool scene. I've never been in this is the first cover bands I've ever been in. Because me and Doug, we always been in signed to original bands. So I'm like, I need to pay the bills, right? So I'm like, I play with a shred guitarist, and we toured with Envy and Michael Shank, TD Clark. So he's like, well, we're not doing that. This band, local band, they play Motley Crue, Poison, all that 80s stuff. But we can make some money. We could really. So we're doing it for like 8 years, and we really elevated.
They got to the point where they actually make some decent.
So now we're making some good money, and it's fun. And you know, see people out there just put the world off hold for 3 hours and just have fun and get back to like the 80s and the 1 times.
What I'm really excited about with what we're doing is that I loved when we did covers, because we never overthunk it. We just kind of like the song is the song. I mean, it's a melody in the chorus and the lyric, and it is what it is. All that other stuff is just the outfit that you put on.
And I think I would just listen to it just to hear. Oh, I just want to hear what the drummer's doing. I'm like, okay, I'm
just going to get an idea of the changes and stuff.
Just so I'm not playing in 6 and these are 4s.
But that might work though.
Just give me the lead melody. Just give me the lead melody.
And know where it's going and play it the way I feel.
So we would do covers that because we didn't have enough original material. So when we would play, it was like, well, we got to find something to play, you know. So we would find a song and go, okay, oh, that sounds pretty good. We can do this. Can you sing that? Like, I can try to sing it. So that was a good one. But the best compliment I think we ever got when Spin Circus played, the best compliment I ever got was, this guy comes up to me, goes, I don't know how you guys pull it off, but you do. And I was like, that's pretty cool, because it shouldn't, and I would say it shouldn't work. It's just how we did it. And it just, people responded to that because they could realize that when we played Fame, it wasn't really Fame, but it was Fame, and they could hear it as being Fame. And we would just kind of own it for, so at least that's what I want to believe. Or one is,
I did listen to your songs. It was Another Thing Coming, No Signal, and then 5-4 with Kevin J.
Yeah.
They're good, man. They're catchy, especially the Kevin J one. I mean, I was like, that was somewhat hip hop.
Yeah, what's the Kevin J? What
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Probably something with the metadata. So who knows?
That 5. Okay, so that it was funny. That little 5-4 song. That was right there. Honestly, that was one of those. That riff, the guitar riff on that, that you heard was something I wrote with Vince 30 years ago.
Oh, is that
It was
right?
like,
Okay.
yeah. And it was only because Vince and Jerome got together. They started doing this groove in 5. And then all of a sudden, I go
5. I don't know.
Yeah, John's like, I don't know what it is.
It goes
but
from 5 and it goes to 6.
it goes to 5 and 6.
Like, what is-
Because I like to play with time. I like to figure out if I put these riffs together, how do I play with time so you can play a song that's in these different time signatures where the person doesn't realize that it's a different time signature. I mean, no one listens to Salisbury Hill and go, that's in 7. No, because it just kind of flows through.
Yeah.
Or no one listens to like Money by Pink Floyd and goes, I think that's 5-1, right? No one thinks about it.
Yeah, they don't think
It's
about
just,
it.
there you go.
So I love to experiment with that stuff. So a song like that 5/4 song, these guys are kind of, Vince and Jerome are just kind of grabbing this groove on 5. It's like, man, I remember that riff, and we threw it in. And I'll never forget when Angel did his rap on this. He tracks it and he goes, I'm going to do it again because I came in too late. I'm like, you ain't doing anything, because that was perfect. And because he was
who raps in 5?
exactly. And he was
always at 4 or something.
He didn't know what to do because his life was always about these simple like divisions of 4. You know, it's like 4, 8, 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's not going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm like, Angel, just find this underneath it and just play around with what's going on underneath that. And after because that was, I think, one of the last things we kind of did.
Yeah.
That was where I was looking at it from a vision standpoint. I was like, this is where I want to go. I wanted to then start to look at some of the older material that would never really kind of materialize and try to figure out how to bring in this little part that we can make it in a way that's not prog like Tool, but really accessible and catchy, where people we're just having fun playing with.
Yeah, that was all just fun. I don't think there's
with
even a chorus on there. Or
no.
Kind of just trying to get Angel to rap in 5.
Yeah, and then trying to find the spots to like sing those little parts and all those different things. So that's having people like these guys that allow you that freedom to just go, let's just try it.
Yeah,
because
just
try it. Who cares if it doesn't work? It doesn't work. And the other thing too is when we say let's try something, because we're all on the same wavelength, we're all kind of go there. I've done that with other bands. I just never, I have not been able to find that again. And they're open to it, and it's not like they're dogmatic and say no, we should. It's not nothing like that. It's just there was something that was different with this core group of guys that we were just such on the same plane.
Yeah,
that
our eyes would like open up with excitement, like, "Ooh, where's he going with that?"
Like,
what are you doing, man? That's not hard.
But it literally was like,
cool. Let's go through that.
Yeah, it was literally like what happens in a marriage where you just like finish sentences from your spouse. I mean, it's just, and it happens so quick. That was the difference with this group of dudes. It happened so fast that I have yet to find that. I played with some good bands, and I'm in some great bands with some great people and some really stellar musicians. I've never had this connection with people, and I don't think I ever will. And I think that's what makes it so special and unique, and why it's so important to do this.
Side note with 5/4. I burned dinner that day because I was recording my keyboard parts in the kitchen while I was cooking.
There you go. There you go.
So I had
on
the counter.
That's funny.
And my daughter's like, my kids call me Poppy. Poppy, something's burning. I've got the headphones on. What? And I look over, I'm like, oh man, dinner's burning. But literally, the computer was next to the stove.
That's hilarious.
Wow. And I had lined the keyboard part next to the refrigerator. And I'm sitting there going back, and the stove is in the middle, and I'm going back to the computer, and dinner's burning. It's just burning. The hell with it. Got a good song.
Right? At least you were cooking up a song while you were in the kitchen.
Literally.
Yeah. No Signal was one of the last songs too. Later towards the end of the band. So we were kind of that's a good song to really capture.
Yeah, and that's one of those things where we started to. That was heading to where we were going to go. Hero was like that as well. Piece of Heaven. We were starting to move, but like, when when we were doing No Signal, that was another great example. We were fleshing out ideas, and I think it was Vince. I was like, Vince had these different parts. He wanted to redo his part. And I was like, no, man, keep that. You like that Tom part. You wanted to do something else. I'm like, no, keep that Tom part there. Because that's like, it's like not expected.
Right. It was done,
and
unintentional.
It
just worked.
I think the hardest part with this band was, and it maybe it was just hard at the time. It might be different now, but at the time there was such when we would spend a lot more extra time on something to get it right, all of a sudden things started to change on it. Okay. And you're almost better off keeping it as not right. Because the vibe,
there's some mess up.
Yeah.
There's
all over the
place. I'm listening to this stuff all week. I'm going,
no.
Yeah,
I love the one with your home singing. Oh boy.
I know.
I messed up.
Keep that. It's just when we started to get it under the microscope, and that's usually my problem because that's what I think. I think like that, and that it started to lose some of that vibe and spontaneity. Now we're older now, so if we approach these things, this could be fun to play these songs now to figure out where we're at. And I want to re-record these things again, just because of now we're 10 years older and we all have our different experiences and what we've learned through the last couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see where they're coming from. But it's still about moments. So you got to get moments. Moments are all that translates, and you can make your recording as great as you can. I can make my voice like pitch perfect. I got all that stuff there. I can make drums perfect. I can do all those things.
Wow, man.
But you can't. You don't have a plugin for vibe. An AI program doesn't. You can't do vibe because how do you quantify vibe? How do you make vibe an algorithm?
Where's the vibe plug-in?
Yeah,
the vibe.
But you know it. You know it when you hear it. And it always happens with stories you hear for the way things are recorded. We had a clinic. Again, I worked at Sam Ash, and so we would have these clinics periodically. Not a lot of them, but we had the bass player for Stevie Wonder once. Who came in. He lives in Chicago, so he came up and he would play with some tracks. And I'll never forget this because I'm standing maybe 12 feet away from him. He starts laying into "I Wish," that boom, boom, boo, doo, boo, boo, boo. That to me is like my favorite. It's my favorite Stevie song. Okay. And so when he starts playing that bass line right in front of me, I felt like a little kid again because the hairs came up. I just felt so jazzed. It was just like this magical moment. So I talked to him afterwards and told him about that. He goes, "You want to hear a funny story?" He goes, he went back when he was recording that. He said that he went back to the hotel and he gets in bed. He's tired. He gets a phone call. He goes, "Yeah, Stevie wants you back down." And he's like, angry. He's like, "That mother blanker." And I can't believe it. So he goes into the studio. So he told me what you hear on that recording is him being pissed off. And you start to go, wow, that's what makes it so effective. And those are what moments are. And those are the things that hopefully you can get, and I'd like to believe you still can, even in this world of modern music, because that's what people connect to. Yeah. They don't connect to things that are perfect per se, but they connect with things that touch them emotionally. And I don't know what that is. All it is, when it happens. Yeah,
well, guys, I just want to thank you for coming on the podcast. We only have like a minute and a half.
Dude, I'm sorry, bro. I actually. No,
man, I felt good. I wish there was more time. I was like, I want to hear more.
Guitar players.
I'm sorry.
No, but I really appreciate you guys, your time coming on, and we look forward to hearing your new songs coming out in the future. I've definitely posted on that. Do you guys have an Instagram yet of Spin Circus?
No, not an Instagram yet. I think we have our old Facebook page, but we're going to try to start. Okay. Yeah,
I will.
We got a YouTube.
I will create everything. I will do all.
That's your job. I love when guys do that because I hate.
Yeah, that way I could tag
social media.
That way I could tag the band and all that on the
social media, and we'll have everything in place probably within a week. I had a passing, and my wife's sister passed 2 days ago, so I'm in Kalamazoo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I'm like, okay, let's go. She's like, we gotta get out of the house. Too many people. Let's get out of here. Let's go see Spin Circus. Let's go.
This was a surprise. I thought it was just gonna be. We're just going to be Vince and Drum myself trying to figure out what we're going to do. What we're going to do and how we're going to learn our songs and try to figure out how we're going to get them sounding good before the show comes up. We only got a couple weeks to do it. So all of a sudden having Kevin here was a really nice surprise.
Yay. Coming on the podcast. Thank you again, guys.
Thanks.
Okay. Thanks.
Thanks, man.